What's going on, everybody? We're back again with another video, and in this video we will be talking about 22 LR and why it sucks for personal protection. Now, I'm talking about 22s in general, but the most popular and most common 22 is 22 LR or 22 long rifle. So that's going to be the main focus, but I'm also extending this to other 22s. Now, there are some 22s that are better than 22 LR for protection, but they still suck. All of them still suck compared to other calibers. Now, the thing is this, the reason why I decided to make this video is because there's videos of people talking about 22s and stuff, right? I'll see videos of people, you know, talking about it, and they'll mention the fact that it's not a self-defense caliber or cartridge, and you'll see those idiots in the comment section of those videos, and they'll be like, what do you mean? 22 can kill you. 22, if I shoot you in the head at very close distances, you'll die. Or if I shoot you in the chest at very close distances, it will kill you. Or they'll say something like, I bet you won't let me shoot you in the face with a 22. Like dumb shit like that. And I want to basically address those idiots. And I'll explain to you if you don't understand why it's not good. And I'll explain to you and give you my opinions and all that stuff on the whole topic, okay? Now, first of all, right, when it comes to 22, of course it's lethal, okay? Nobody's making the argument that 22 is not lethal, because if you make that argument, you are in fact wrong, because people have died by 22s, right? So let's get that off the table. 22s are lethal, just like any other fucking projectile that's leaving a barrel of a gun at a certain speed and it enters your body. Any piece of metal that can enter your body can kill you if it hits in the right spot or whatever. So that's just the reality of it, okay? And the thing is, so that's the one thing, is like they're arguing a topic that nobody's even talking about. It's not that it's not lethal. It's not good at stopping human target threats or anything bigger than that, right? So since it's not good, and I'll explain to you what I mean when it's not good at stopping threats. Now, first of all, when it comes to personal protection, your goal is not to kill the person or assailant or whatever. Your goal is not to kill them. Your goal is to stop them from what they're doing. The goal is to stop the threat. So if stopping the threat is shooting them once in the toe and they stop, all right, you're good. If stopping the threat is shooting them 10 times in the chest because they're not stopping and then they just so happen to die, then that's a part of it. You know what I mean? But the goal is not to kill them, okay? So, of course, 22 is lethal, and the goal in self-protection is not to kill them. The goal is to stop them. And with that, essentially, I'm going to explain to you a lot of different ways to stop a threat. I just explained to you some. If you shoot at somebody and they quit, they're done. What if they don't quit and you have to keep putting rounds on target and then they stop? You know what I mean? Essentially, though, you want a caliber or cartridge that is effective enough where they can penetrate deep enough and hit vital areas, organs, your spinal cord, your spine, anything like that. Enough penetration, also effective damage to the target. So, you know, example of that and I'll tell you what these rounds are. So this one right here is the 22 LR, the smallest one. The one next to it is the 380 ACP, and the one to the far left is 9mm Luger or 9x19, 9mm Parabellum. It's the 9mm round that people typically refer to when you hear 9mm, okay? And the 380, when it comes to penetration, is not great. That's why me personally, and I've done research on this, I carry Full Metal Jacket 380 ACP because I need that extra penetration. If you have a hollow point and the round itself is not good at penetrating, even though the hollow point opens up, it doesn't hit any vital areas that will do enough damage and be effective enough to stop the threat. So that's what I mean. There's a lot of different factors when it comes to an effective round to use for personal protection. And the thing about the 22, there's a couple of things about it that's bad, okay? One, it's a very small. Now, just because it's small doesn't mean it's necessarily bad, because there are small there's rounds that have small bullets, which is the end piece, that still do a lot of damage. You know, like 5.56 is one. Your 5.7 by 28 is another one. Now, you know, so, but one of the things is it's very small. Not only is the bullet small, but the whole cartridge itself is small. If you compare it to these two right here, it's thinner and shorter, basically. And so it doesn't pack a lot of powder, right? It doesn't, it's small. The bullet is not moving as fast as something like these, right? So it's not going to do as much damage, right? And it's the reliability of, especially semi-automatic 22 handguns is just bad. They're not reliable. So in a lot of ways, having a gun chambered in 22 long rifle is just not a good setup for self-defense. And here's another thing. This is just my opinion on why I think people are claiming that they like 22 or whatever for defense. The main thing that people see when they're like, and it's mainly ignorant people that don't know anything about guns and anything like that, they go to a gun shop and they see how cheap the 22 LR ammo is. And now I don't know this, I'm just going to give an example, but 22, like 500 rounds, around like 50, 60 bucks, right? They're like, oh, wow, that's cheap. I can get that rather than buying like, you know, 500 rounds for like 150, 200 bucks of 9mm, you know what I'm saying? And so they're like, yeah, I'll get this 22, you know, it's cheaper, I'll save money, and it's easy to control. Because that's another thing that people say, oh, it's extremely soft shooting, which that is true. But it doesn't matter how soft shooting it is if the round itself is not effective at doing what it does, effective at stopping the threat. I don't care how easy it is to shoot. You may make the argument, oh, you can put multiple shots on target very easy. Well, of course you can. But if those multiple shots on target aren't effective, what is the point? That's just my argument. So essentially, people, you know, look at the price and they see it and they think it's easy. And then obviously a lot of people like to recommend to old people 22s, you know, and stuff like that. Now, I want to reiterate this real quick. A 22 is better than nothing, obviously, okay? I shouldn't have to say that, but I'm going to say that because there's idiots out there that think, oh, well, I'd rather have a 22 than nothing. I'm not saying it. Yes, if you had a choice between nothing and 22, then take that 22, you know what I mean? But you don't, but there's other options out there, okay? If you're old, you don't need a 22. Get something like a 380 or like an Easy or something that's chambered in 380 or 9mm, you know what I'm saying? That'll be better because at least a round is more effective, okay? And you know, you got other rounds that are better than that. Like the one next to it, 380 ACP is phenomenal, okay? That's a great round, you know? It's not as powerful as 9mm, but it does the job just fine. And it's not that bad on recoil. Now, obviously, if you get a tiny gun, you're gonna feel it, but it's still a nice round and it's better than fucking 22 long rifle or 22 LR. And the thing is, like, you just do your research on the ballistics and stuff, and you will see, man, the 22s are just not, it's not the thing. All right, first of all, most 22s are not meant for self-defense. They are meant for hunting small game, rabbits, squirrels, anything that is around that size. That's what they're good for, okay? So I'm not saying 22 is useless. 22 is fine for hunting, and it's actually fun for plinking. So those are its advantages. But as far as protection and self-defense for like against people or even larger animals, you don't want to go with that. The reliability sucks. The round is not effective. Now, obviously, you can kill somebody, okay, with one. Now, I'm going to give you kind of an example what I mean by that, right? When I was talking about stopping the threat and how, you know, the goal isn't to kill them. So here's a hypothetical example. Let's say somebody kicks down my door. I have a 22. I shoot him in the chest. The bullet travels and it severs or punctures a big artery that connects to their heart. The chance of that affecting them immediately is low, right? If they're coming to murder me, they might still murder me, maybe successfully or not. But let's say they successfully kill me, but then later he dies. Well, he died, but the job wasn't done. He didn't stop. It didn't protect me from dying or getting hurt. You know what I'm saying? So while yes, it can kill somebody, it's not good at stopping threats. And this is another thing. The other example is if I had a 9mm or a 380 and somebody kicked down my door, I put a few rounds in their chest, they're more likely to either feel it or be more affected by it because of more deeper penetration or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's just going to be better overall. And another thing is this. When I've seen a lot of police body cam footage where they shoot somebody in the chest with 9mm, 40, 45, multiple times. I've seen a cop put 14 rounds in somebody's chest, and it took the 14th round for him to drop. And he was just walking and trying to attack her. So if one of these two, it takes 10 plus rounds, not always, but it usually takes multiple rounds. But if it takes multiple rounds to stop somebody, do you seriously think that this tiny little thing right here is gonna do the job even better? No, it's not. And another thing, I want to address a myth about 22 LR, okay? You'll hear a lot of people saying that 22 will bounce all up and around you, inside you. It'll bounce all around your body. It'll turn your insides into Swiss cheese and it'll do all that, right? It'll turn your insides into like mashed potatoes because it bounces all around inside of you. While yes, bullets could bounce or ricochet off of it's generally like bone that they'll ricochet off of because it has to be a hard surface. They're not going to ricochet off organs, you know what I'm saying? But they'll ricochet off bone. But it's not going to be like pinball where it's like ding, 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 back and forth, back and forth. No, it'll possibly ricochet one time and then like you got to think about it this way. It's pure physics. When a bullet has any resistance, it starts losing its energy. The moment the bullet exits the barrel, it loses energy. And if it starts hitting things like organs and muscle tissue and all that shit, it slows down. So if it hits your bone and it ricochets, it's probably going to ricochet maybe once, at most twice, and then it's going to stop. But in some cases, it might not even ricochet. It'll just stop where it is. You know what I mean? So while yes, bullets bouncing, or not bouncing, but ricocheting in your body can happen, your body isn't like a hollow shell, right? It's not going to go bing, bing, bing. It's not a hollow shell, okay? There's organs, there's blood, water, muscle tissue. There's all this shit in your body that's going to slow that bullet down to the point where it's not going to be able to ricochet like that, okay? So that's just a myth that I wanted to dispel. It won't bounce around in you like some people say it. That's a common myth. And that's a myth about the 22. Like some people will bring that up like that's like an argument, which it's not. Now, like I said, if you have no other choice, then okay, but you want something more powerful than that, okay? And I find it hilarious that people are sitting here trying to argue with people claiming, oh, it definitely will kill you. Oh, you definitely can use it. Oh, no, of course it can kill you. No shit. That's obvious, okay? Like, that's completely obvious. And if there's somebody claiming that 22 won't kill you, they're lying. That's a false statement. It obviously can kill you, you know? And the most common way it'll probably kill you is if you get hit in the head with it. You know what I mean? If it penetrates your skull and hits your brain, the chance of it killing you are way up there, okay? But I've seen a lot of cases where people don't die from it. I've seen a case where a dude got shot in the face multiple times with a 22. He passed out because of severe brain damage, but he woke up later and he had I'm pretty sure some of you might even know about this case. He was in an interrogation room because they thought he killed his girlfriend because his girlfriend got killed too. And he didn't know anything about it. And the guy looked at his face and he seen bullet holes in his face, and he ended up getting shot in the face 22 by multiple times by 22. Now, he did end up dying later on because of severe damage to his brain, and all this shit caused him to have a seizure and all that stuff. But it didn't stop the threat type thing. You know, I guess in his case, it kind of did. But listen, don't look at the very minute, you know, chances of it happening, that it actually stopping a threat. I'm not saying everything's absolute, oh, it won't, but the chance is extremely low. That's my whole point. So that's pretty much it. All I have to say about it. I just wanted to not demonstrate, but to show you and explain to you why it's not the best, or it's not even good. It's not even adequate. It's literally the worst for personal protection in a lot of ways. And just saying, the reason why I was mentioning reliability, well, most rim-fired firearms, typically reliability is not, you know, you can see this is rim fire and this is center. You can see the center fire has the primer in the middle, and then the rim fire has, the primer is essentially on the outer edge of the whole entire thing. So, but anyway, that's all my thoughts on that topic. If you have any comments, let me know. If you're one of those idiots that thinks 22 is good for self-defense, you can click off this video and just don't watch my shit, because I'm not arguing with a dumbass like that. So, but that's it, yo. I'll see y'all later in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you like the content I bring out. Don't forget to subscribe to Mark's channel. He got good stuff coming out. Excuse me. And don't forget to like the video and share and do all that stuff. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.